Can a spicy startup with an ad-free creative model disrupt YouTube? Welcome to Tech First with John Kutsier. Cinnamon is a new video platform with a couple of unique features. First of all, you get paid for the videos you upload, and secondly, it happens without ads. That's kind of interesting. That's unusual these days. Third, it plans to bridge the gap between creators and viewers. To get a little deeper and get scoop, we're chatting with CEO Róbert Tarabčák. Welcome, Robert.
Thanks for having me, John.
Hey, it's a real pleasure to have you. Give us a quick lowdown. What is Cinnamon?
So Cinnamon is a next, or I would say, multi-level engagement video platform that is empowering creators with a bunch of quite unique tools to get paid fairly and instantly, but at the same time to reach the audience, not only their audience, but also the audience of their audience.
Interesting. Why did you create it? What's the gap you're trying to fill here?
So as you've been talking about in previous podcasts with Signal Fire analyst, there are now over 50 million content creators, and that is going to grow in the future based on the reports from Signal Fire and Andreessen Horowitz and much more. And around 97% of these creators are not getting paid fairly.
Yes.
They can't make a living out of it.
Or not very much at all.
Yeah, so that's why there is a huge increase of platforms like Patreon and TipJar and Buy Me Coffee, and we are next to the mix with different business model, different approach, with a focus on empowering creators with these tools, and also to empower their viewers to pay them directly.
Okay, interesting. So we're going to get into a lot of things about Cinnamon, some of the features, some of the cool new things that you've done there, and why somebody would want to post their stuff to Cinnamon, other things like that, some of the sharing features that you've built, all that stuff. I want to start here because you mentioned about the monetization piece and because it's pretty different, right? I mean, you mentioned there's lots of different models. There's Patreon, TipJar, all these things. YouTube is, of course, ad-based mostly. There's some subscription as well. How does the monetization piece work on Cinnamon, and how's that better than what is available elsewhere?
So when we initially started, we done some research about what we can do in order to support creators in their journeys. And at that time, I was working for a company called Coil that was building entirely new system for streaming payments online on the web. That's called Web Monetization, and it's open source, so anybody can use it. And they are making it super easy for any developers to implement and accept payments from anyone across the world in whatever value. So it can be fiat, it can be crypto. It works perfectly. So that's why we picked to partner with Coil. And how it works actually is that we are creating this bi-directional flow of data and value. So when you will hit the video on Cinnamon, your browser will initialize stream of micropayments that lands instantly into the wallet of creator. And once you will stop the video, we will start streaming payments. So it's a completely different approach, and it's also about reducing friction points for a user. If you have to tip, it's always different additional action you have to make. And we are trying to make that experience better for both publishers and consumers.
So talk to me about how that works. How do I stream payments to somebody? I'm watching their video. It's super interesting. I'm 2 hours in, and how am those payments streaming there? Did I purchase something? Did I buy a pack of tokens or something like that, and they're just automatically going out? What's that look like?
So Coil, as a pioneer in web monetization, built also subscription service. It's called Web. Now they act as a web monetization provider. So you pay to Coil $5 per month, And
Yep.
as a member, you now have access to all exclusive content across the web. So whether it's Cinnamon or Imager or any other site, you can browse them and they can decide whether to display to you ads while you are streaming payments to them, or they will just make the experience better for you and serve you more exclusive content. That's what we do. Yeah.
Interesting. So that sounds cool. People have been trying to do micropayments for a long time, and this sounds like a relatively painless version of it. And in my mind, more interesting than Patreon or something like that, where I have to decide I love somebody so much that I'm going to commit to that one person or collective to give them a certain amount. And also better than tip jar, where it's an individual decision every time, right? So there's a lot of opportunity there. I want to talk about another factor that you're building into Cinnamon. You say you're trying to bring creators and consumers together, creators
Mhm.
and viewers together. What's that mean, and how are you going to do that?
So, about this, we've been super thoughtful this year, since January, because last year we've been focusing on building tools for creators. But this year, we looked at all of the current trending video streaming platforms like TikTok, Instagram, new Reels, and also YouTube, something that's going to stay here for forever, I guess. And we tried mm, to think about what are the best pieces of all of those, and what's missing in each of them. And based on that, we decided to empower not only creator but also consumer with tools to switch easily between being a viewer and being a creator. So that we do with something called Shorts, and I think we'll tap into that later.
So let's dive a little deeper into that. Is that sort of it brings to mind Apple's slogan from the early days of MP3s, rip, mix, burn, or something like that. Is that you're able to sort of take what somebody's created and repackage it, reformat it in some way, and what's that look like? How does a viewer become a creator?
That's that's a great question. And as viewer is watching content on Cinnamon, you can basically decide and at any time to share that piece of content with your followers on other social media. When you do that on YouTube, you have only a bunch of options today. Decade ago, we've been thinking that we can share YouTube videos anywhere because we haven't had platforms like YouTube or TikTok that are just not allowing us to share embedded links. And that we want to change in a way that we are allowing you to, with just 2 taps on your phone while watching a video, cut streamed content to you to 5 to 15-second long clips, add effects, text, filters, and in the future even different audio, and then share it natively to TikTok, or Instagram as a story, or as a GIF on Giphy or Imager, or as a post on Facebook, or
Yes.
as a message on Messenger or WhatsApp. So
Cool.
that's why we are bridging these gaps.
I like that. I like that a lot because I think some of the stats that I've seen historically, and I haven't seen recent ones, but that, like 1%, maybe to a maximum of 10%, depending on your definition of people are creators, and the rest, the vast majority, the 90%, even 99% are consumers. And if we can not think of ourselves as consumers, which is a horrible way to think of yourself. I consume, right? That is my identity. That's a horrible way to think of yourself. If we can think of everybody as creative and everybody as being able to contribute, whether that's original creations or whether that's making something original out of other contributions, I think that's a worthwhile thing. Very interesting that you're doing that. I wanted to touch on a topic, and you brought it up a little bit because you mentioned you looked at a lot of different platforms. You looked at YouTube, you looked at TikTok. They're video platforms, but they're so different, right? One is pretty long form, one is extreme short form, right? where does cinnamon fit? What's your niche look like?
Got it. So first, I have to say that we are a commentary platform. We don't want anyone to shift its entire workflow to Cinnamon today, or trying to move all of their audience to Cinnamon. You can use Cinnamon today as a tool that will just increase the overall impressions of your content across all social media. So you can collaborate with our current community, or you can bring your super fans, just 1% of your followers, to Cinnamon, and work together in order to maximize the potential of your content. And on YouTube, there is one thing amazing, and that's the engagement level. That's for moments when you have long attention span, but when you are on TikTok or Instagram, you have short attention span. And to use, for me as an adult, Instagram or TikTok is, I do it because I want to explore, to discover new things. And then when I want to engage properly with something and educate myself, or I don't know, watch review, I'm usually switching to YouTube. And we just took the best of these platforms and combine them in one. So when creator is uploading video on Cinnamon, we don't have, we have classic thumbnail, but we have short, up to 15-second long clip out of that original piece. And then anybody can create their own representation of that content, and it will stick to that original. So you will explore originals in the way as you explore on TikTok or in Instagram stories. And when you will like those small clips, then you'll go and hit the original. And then that's the time when you will turn around your phone in landscape mode, and you will enjoy 16:9 ratio content. So yeah, that's basically the experience, multi-level engagement experience we are doing here.
That's a very interesting thesis. Little bits, consumable, explorable, flippable, right? And super interested. Great. Dive in and go deeper into that. So you have a technology called Shorts, and I suspect it's related to what we just talked about. What are Shorts, and how's it work?
So Shorts are small pieces of already made content. They are 5 to 15-second long, and the original creator is required to provide its own short when publishing on Cinnamon, and the viewers are able to cut and remix their own shorts and then share them natively across all social media. But they can also be compensated for creating shorts, because web monetization provided us with these incredible tools to even split the revenue with up to 100 creators. So when I, as a coil member, will be watching your short on someone else's original, you will be compensated for promoting that piece of content in a different way, in the same way as the original creator.
Interesting. Now, you create a short auto-magically in some way, shape, or form, or is it with intention? Like, if we were going to create a short of this conversation, how would that work? What would that look like?
So I would just be watching this conversation, and when I will see a piece that striked with me, I'll just tap a short button. If that's the right position of short, I'll just hit another button to share it instantly, and it's done. If I don't like this part, I can then move it to another part of the video, however I like, and edit it natively in my mobile experience or on the web.
Okay.
It's very similar experience. And I also know that Twitch was playing with something like this a while ago. They have it still on their platform. It's called Clips. But this is completely different story.
Okay. Okay, good. Look out in your crystal ball for a moment. We were talking in the prep time before the show about, some of the stresses of being an entrepreneur, doing a startup and everything like that. What does success look like for Cinnamon in a year?
We would love to onboard more and more creators. That's our goal today, to acquire more and more creators, bring them to Cinnamon, constantly validate every single step we do. I was user experience is before, so for me, it's very important to gather feedback, and based on that, shape next decisions in our journey. So in a year from now, I would say we would love to have at least 100,000 creators on board at Cinnamon.
Wow. Well, that's a substantial number, and that's a big dream. Robert, I'd love to thank you for joining us on Tech First. Really do appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Hey, it's a real pleasure. For everybody else, thank you for joining us on Tech First as well. My name, of course, is John Coetzee. I appreciate you being along for the show. You'll be able to get a full transcript of this in about a week at johncoetzee.com. The story at Forbes will come out shortly thereafter. Plus, a full video will be on my YouTube channel, maybe on my Cinnamon. Who knows? Thanks for joining. Maybe share with a friend. Until next time, this is John Coetzee with Tech First.